Okay, on to chapter 3. Vehicle basic vehicle operation, chapter 3. Okay, here's a picture of an airbag, right? So that's not quite what we're talking about with an airbag. I just want to talk a little bit about safety belts uh, and airbag. So I don't know if you've ever been involved in a collision or the airbag exploded, but airbags, it's a chemical reaction, and when they do explode, it happens quickly, right? Um, so airbag is not meant to replace the seatbelt. You need to wear your seatbelt. And it's the law, right? If you get a ticket, and then also in the back seat, right? If you're under the age of 18, you have to have a seatbelt on it in the back. But the airbag complements the seatbelt. So for airbag is meant for like the serious collision. When you get involved in a rollover crash, you hit something at a high speed, it explodes, and it's been known to you wouldn't want to have like a small kid sitting in the front seat because if the airbag explodes, it could harm them. Obviously, things like don't put your feet up on the dash. That's important because if you get a deer runs out in front and it causes the airbag to explode. When that airbag explodes, it's going to come out at a couple 100 miles an hour. It would break your feet. It'd break your toes, break your legs. So keep your feet off the dash. But main thing is wear your seatbelt. And if you do get involved in a serious crash, that airbag provides a good extra protection. So I always recommend looking at the owner's manual to learn about the location, operation of devices for safety, comfort, and communication. Each car is different. Today, you have cars. Some cars drive themselves, so you're going to have to spend some time getting used to your car and where all the features are in your car. For example, I would caution you, like you get in a car, you go for a drive. Maybe you know how to drive, but you don't know how to turn the windshield wipers on. And all of a sudden you're driving on the highway past a semi, you get splashed and like mud or heavy rain, and you can't see, and you're fumbling for the windshield wipers. That's very dangerous. You could turn into oncoming traffic and being involved in a direct collision. So you need to know how to operate the basic procedures of your car. Practice turn signals, practice turning on the air conditioner, practice turning on the heat, practice turning on the defroster, practice turning on the windshield wipers. Make sure you know where the gas gauge is located, all of those important things. Everybody should know what this looks like. A steering wheel, right? Um, when I was in driver's ed, they always taught us 10 and 2. Now they're going more to the 9 and 3 or 8 and 4 because of the airbag. But when you're driving with me, I always just say 2 hands on the wheel. So if you only have one hand on the wheel and somebody would hit you, right? Then your hand flies off. Well, who's controlling the vehicle? No one. So if you have 2 hands on the wheel, somebody hits you, maybe it flies off one hand, but you can still keep one hand on the wheel to somewhat control the vehicle. So one hand is not enough. Okay, this is talking about the shift lever. It's to select a gear. It is commonly located on the steering column or the console. Console's in the middle of the vehicle in the front seats. And then a little bit about cruise control. It's a device that lets you maintain your desired speed without keeping your foot on the accelerator. And you should not use cruise control during bad weather like ice or snow, anything like that. Accelerator pedal is located to the right of the foot brake pedal. If you've never driven a car before, you need to know where this is located for sure. You can practice this without even turning the car on. And then the brake lever there in the middle. And then for a manual transmission, over the left is the clutch. And the clutch pedal is used to shift gears, to slow the vehicle down when you're shifting, every time you shift gears. So pushing the foot brake pedal slows or stops the vehicle. Depressing this pedal also turns on the brake lights in the back of the vehicle. It's a warning sign. And the parking brake keeps the vehicle in place when it is parked. Push this pedal down with your foot to set the parking brake. And there's a picture of the parking brake. Some are, you know, with your foot, with your left foot pressing on the pedal, and some of it is just in the middle by the console. Shift indicator shows the gear positions of an automatic transmission. P or park locks the transmission. R or reverse gear is used for backing up. N or neutral allows the car to roll forward without engine power. And D or drive is used for moving the vehicle forward. And then you have lower gears, which allow the engine to send more power to the wheels at lower speeds. And you should only use those lower gears if you're towing heavy objects or going up and down hills. Okay, and so you can see where they're in reverse there. Again, a little bit more information about seatbelts. Again, always wear your seatbelt when your vehicle is in motion. Some states require all. Iowa, right? If you're under the age of 18, you have to have it on in the back seat. Typically, most things it's a $100 fine if you don't have your seatbelt on. And then head restraints are important too. Padded devices on the back of front seats. Head restraints help reduce whiplash injuries in a collision, especially if the car is struck from the rear. So, yeah, in all the vehicle collisions, like where people die in Iowa, more often than not, if you have your seatbelt on, people still die with their seatbelt on it, but you greatly reduce the chances. You greatly reduces the chances of dying with the seatbelt on. If you don't have your seatbelt on and you get thrown around in the car, that increases your chances through the front windshield, outside the window. So there's just, I mean, everyone should wear their seatbelt. Okay, mirrors. Inside mirror shows the view through the rear of the vehicle. The outside mirror shows views to the side and rear of your vehicle. Excuse me. Even when these mirrors are adjusted properly, there are certain areas around your car you cannot see called blind spots. This is where you have to glance over your shoulder to check your blind spot. Especially like when you're going to change lanes, you're going to slow down, you're going to turn, you can check your blind spots. So blind spots are the areas that the mirrors don't show. The horn is usually located on the steering wheel. In some areas, 2 taps on the horn convey a friendly message. On the turn lever signal is the windshield wipers and the washers. One switch operates both of these. The light switch is usually a knob or a switch located on the left of the instrument panel or on the turn signal lever. The hood release lever is located on the left side under the instrument panel, and it releases the hood so you can check your engine. Then you have to get out and pull a second lever to open your hood. And the defroster keeps the windshield and windows free of moisture. And sun visors are located above the windshield. Pull the visor down or to the left to help reduce glare from the bright sun. Okay, hazards, hazard flasher lights. When your hazard flasher is on, both front and rear turn signal lights, they operate at the same time. And it's usually located somewhere on the top of the steering column by this little triangle. The seat adjustment lever is usually located at the lower front or left side of the driver's seat. And in vehicles with electric seats, the controls are usually on the lower left side of the driver's seat or somewhere mounted on the door. The instrument panel contains gauges, warning lights, and sometimes a message center. It is the panel that directly in front of the driver's seat. The fuel gauge shows the amount of fuel in the gas tank. Then the temperature light or gauge warning light or gauge warns you when the coolant or engine is too hot. So yeah, one thing you can do to, you shouldn't drive if the temperature light comes on, but if you have to drive, you can turn on the heater, turn off the air conditioner, and you'll be hot in the car, but the car will, the engine will cool down, right? And let you drive maybe for a little bit. if you do have the oil pressure gauge or warning light, means the oil is not circulating at the proper pressure. And I would probably pull over and I would turn off the car if the oil pressure gauge or warning light appears. You could do damage to your vehicle, and that's probably, you know, that's more than I would call for. I would call somebody for myself to get the car towed, to have it checked out. That's kind of above my pay grade as a driver's ed teacher. When the oil pressure light comes on, you know, you can do damage to your vehicle, and I even myself would not. I would stop driving it and call somebody to get a tow truck. The alternator is a generator that produces electricity to power a vehicle's electrical system. Your vehicle's electrical system is in trouble if this light comes on or the gauge shows discharge, and the alternator warning light or gauge warns that the battery is being drained. The more electricity used, the sooner the battery will be dead. The braking system warning light warns you of two things. The light reminds you to release the parking brake before moving the vehicle. And if the light comes on while you're driving and is telling you that all or part of the brake system might not be working properly, get that checked out. You have a speedometer, it tells you how fast you're going. And engine tachometer, it tells you revolutions per minute. So whether you're driving a manual transmission or automatic transmission, you don't want to get your car in the red zone, red light. The odometer is a gauge that displays the total number of miles or kilometers that a vehicle has driven since it was manufactured. And it's in the middle there. So this car's been driven 77,552 miles. Used to be the cars driven 100,000 miles was a lot. Now cars routinely run 200,000, 250,000. As long as you do proper maintenance with changing oil, having it serviced, that's pretty routine. Anti-lock braking system light tells you if the anti-lock braking system is functioning properly. ABS allows you to lock your brakes up and still turn the wheel. So older brakes that didn't have ABS, right, it would make your tires skid and you couldn't turn the wheel at all. You just slide forward. Kind of like if you're riding a bicycle in the front and you use your front brakes too much, the wheel locks up and then you go over the top. If you had anti-lock brakes on your bicycle and you use the front brake too much, there would be a sensor there that would cause it to go on and off and help prevent you from going over the front of your bicycle. Don't try that out at home too much though. The airbag warning light tells you if the airbags are working in proper condition, and they come on when the vehicle is turned on. Turn signal indicators tell you directions you have signaled to turn. The turn signal lever is located on the left side of the steering wheel column. Push down to the left turn and up to turn right. And the high beam indicator light glows when the high beam headlights are on. It is a blue light, and turn them off simply by pulling back on the turn signal lever. If your engine light comes on, you should have your vehicle checked. Many vehicles have a messenger light that provides information with important items. Oil change, low washer fluid, door ajar. And newer cars today have key fobs, which you can lock or unlock your vehicle's distance from a distance. So when you inspecting your vehicle before you get into drive, these are pre-checks, right? One thing they talk about, if you get in your vehicle from the side street, walk around the front of the vehicle toward the back. So busy intersections, if you live in a busy area, you know, this might be important. I don't know always like in your driveway, right? But you don't want to turn your back to the traffic. So when you adjust your seat, you're supposed to be at least 10 inches back from the bottom of the wheel. Before opening the door, have your keys in hand ready. And again, this is like bigger city stuff, right? Because, you know, you don't want to linger around like at night or anything. But, you know, in the middle of the daytime, in a tumble, I'm not sure it's that important. But so what do we mean by look under your vehicle? Just the obvious stuff, right? So if you see like a big puddle of transmission fluid, oil fluid, then you need to be aware of that and get that checked out. It's just the obvious stuff. Around your vehicle, look at the tires. Do you have a flat tire? Before you leave the house, it'd be a lot easier to change the tire at your own house than it would be to, you know, on the middle of a gravel road or a highway somewhere. Make sure you have a clean windshield. In the wintertime, $100 fine if your windshield is not defrosted over. And I know all of us have seen people that are in a hurry to get to school, to get to work. It's really cold outside in the winter, and they just have like a little teeny hole, right, scraped in so they can see out of it. That's unsafe, and that would be a $100 fine. So clean windows, clean headlights, look inside the vehicle. I would say make sure you check behind the vehicle before you back up. A lot of times people will just back up into a car, right in behind them. Okay. And again, 6 steps for starting the vehicle: set the parking brake, make sure the shift lever is in park, place your right foot on the brake pedal, insert key and turn car, check gauges, turn on headlights if they don't come on automatically. I've already talked about this steering part right here. So, we recommend like 9 and 3 or 8 and 4. And then don't look over the hood of your car, right? Look far down, 12 to 15 seconds ahead. We call that your target area. So you can identify, predict, and decide things well in advance. So hand over hand steering is the best method to use when you need to make right turns or to make quick steering actions. We just don't want you flipping the steering wheel. So begin with hands at 9 and 3. For a right turn, move the right hand down to 5. Move the left hand to 12 and pull it down to 5. Cross the right hand over to the left to the 12 and the 5. Straighten the wheel, and then to make a left turn, do the opposite, starting with the left at 9. So, and I give you these pictures here. Hand over hand. Braking point, a vehicle's braking point is the point at which the brakes begin to work and slow the vehicle. When wheel lockup occurs when the brakes are applied with such force that the wheels stop turning and the tires begin to slide. And always lock your car up. Okay, that's it for chapter 3. Thank you.